What's going on, guys? This is Hugo. This is my new watch channel. Quick wristwatch check. I have my vintage 1971 Rolex Oyster on today. Fantastic piece that I do have for sale at the moment. And any and all money is going towards my watch shop right now. This does have the original bracelet as well, and so if you are interested, feel free to leave a comment below, or just send me an email. I'll make sure I put it in the link. And so let's get started. And so today is going to be a video that I wanted to make more about getting started or getting into the watch hobby. Most people think it takes thousands of dollars to get into this hobby to get a decent watch, and most don't realize that you don't need thousands of dollars to get into this hobby. Most people will start out with Seikos. Most people are going to start out with Citizens. Most people are going to start out with micro brands like San Martin. As a matter of fact, I have quite a few of these watches, and for me, they're great watches. They're my yard watches or my beach watches, just because I don't want to take out my $10,000 watch while I'm out in the ocean. Not that that's what they're made for, but at the end of the day, service costs are expensive and they're not getting any cheaper. So without further ado, to me, the number one most important watch when getting started, and a lot of people are very against quartz for some reason. I am not. I have several quartz pieces, but this for me is going to be probably the most important, if not one of the most important watches when you're getting started, and it's the Casio F91W. I have the green one, but for me it's been a phenomenal watch. They have it in many variations, the calculator one, and you can get them for about $20, if that. And so they're very, very inexpensive. I wouldn't say they're cheap, they're inexpensive. I've had mine for years and it continues to keep going. Aside from that, I would say if you are going to want to get into this space, as I had mentioned before, you're going to want to go with something that's going to be like a Seiko, or something like that's going to be similar to Seiko. I know most people are not the biggest fans, or there's a lot of watch snobs out there that are not by any means into the brand Invicta. Invicta is something that I use for the yard. If I'm mowing the yard, if I'm going into salt water, this is something that I'll use. This is a decent piece. It's got an NH35. They're not decorated movements or anything, but you can still see the movement on the back part of the actual watch itself, and the little rotor back there. But they're nice watches, and it's what most people will buy at the beginning. I have this one here. I've used it a handful of times, like I mentioned, just to do the yard, or things like that. But I mean, to me, this would be the very, very beginning of your watch collecting journey, I'd say. Don't get me wrong, it's a great diver and it holds up in the water. For me, I've already gotten to a different point from there. But I was gonna say that I think a step above the Invicta, or a couple steps above the Invicta, is gonna be something like this. And this is a San Martin GMT. This San Martin GMT it is a collar GMT, so the red hand moves rather than the hour hand like on a Rolex. but nonetheless you can keep track of 2 to 3 time zones. And these watches now do have a extension for the bracelet underneath here. Mine does not have the quick adjust, just because I got it right before they started doing that, but you're getting a milled clasp. And although you cannot see the movement, these movements are great. I've had this one for probably a couple years as well, and keeps track of time just as well as any other one of my watches that I have. They do have a little bit of heft to them. It does have that signed crown as well, but they're fantastic watches. I mean, this thing is the best beater I think that that money can buy. I think I paid maybe $200 for it. This was about $100, and this was $200. You can see it's a lot. This is a lot more jingly, and this is a lot more sturdy, not so jingly. And so it just depends on what you're gonna want. Another thing that's gonna be important is, are you gonna want a date function? You can see that the date function is there. It's kind of being blocked by the hand, but are you going to want a date function? Are you going to want a GMT? Are you going to want a time only watch? It depends on what it's going to be used for as well. Because even something like a dress watch, I have an Orient Bambino small seconds. This was a gift, as a matter of fact. And this one is also an exhibition case back. These watches are very, very inexpensive, coming in at about $200 as well. They're very thin and made extremely well. I think that they are top notch when it comes to a watch that you'd like to wear maybe out with a tuxedo, something that's a little bit dressier. But these watches are phenomenal. It doesn't have a screw down crown, but if you're gonna go out on a date somewhere or you're gonna be wearing that tuxedo, I don't think you're gonna be getting that near water. And so this actually does have the date function with that running small seconds hand here. And it does beat at 3 hertz or 21,600 vibrations per hour. Another thing, chronographs. Chronographs are extremely expensive, or can get extremely expensive. As a matter of fact, even a quartz piece like this is going to run you close to $1,000. Bulova is great. I love my Bulova Lunar Pilot. It is one of my favorite watches. Dave Scott wore his after his Speedmaster gave out, and so of course it's not the exact same watch. I have the blue variant, but it's a great watch. It does keep track of the 10th of a second with the running seconds down here, and the tachymeter seconds hand running along. Let me reset that. And like I mentioned, this is going to be more towards the $800 to $1,000 range. But if you're looking for a chronograph and you are on a budget and you want something that's going to look nice, whether it's on a leather strap, on a NATO strap, you can pretty much put this on any strap, this is going to be what I recommend. And this is the Siegel 1963. Now this chronograph does have, it is a little bit on the chunky side, but it does have that decorated exhibition case back. And so that for me is this watch, I'd say, is one of the biggest conversation pieces. And considering the fact that I have watches that are upwards of $20,000 and more, this is something that you can get for about $150 to $250, and it's gonna perform just as well. You can see the running seconds here, and then it does have a 30-minute timer, which you can get started right here with this pump pusher. This is gonna have a 30-meter water resistance, but then again, you shouldn't be taking your chronographs in the water, and if you do, then I would suggest you don't take this one in there. I usually don't take my chronographs in the water. I'll take a diver to use the diving bezel, but this one is a stop and reset right at the top. There you go. And so just wanted to showcase some watches that you don't need to break the bank. This is something that you can get for very inexpensive. They're watches that last years, and if you need to replace it at any point, buy another one. I mean, servicing this, yeah, it can always be done, but you're probably better off just buying another one, or buying, several iterations of something like this, buying yourself something like this, and you're good to go for the week. I mean, you have your GMT, you have your chronograph. Now, if you do want to get into something that's a little bit pricier or Swiss made, for me, my choice was the Hamilton Khaki Automatic. I love this timepiece. It keeps time like nobody's business. It does have that milled clasp as well, and an exhibition case back. These use, I believe they're Salida, if not ETA 2824 calibers, or they're based off of ETA 2824s, and they run great. You give them a little shake or a little wind, that's all you need. But this is a perfect Swiss entry piece, just because you're going to be at under $1,000 either way. I believe they're at $895. When I got this, I paid about $675 with tax, but as everybody knows, prices have increased, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then a step above that, of course, is going to be something like a Tudor, but that's something for another time. Like I mentioned, I wanted to get into what watches you could have that are going to be entry piece watches that you're not going to break the bank, and that you can use whenever, pretty much in any situation and whenever you'd like to use them. And so yeah, I hope to be able to continue to make content. As I mentioned, I'm going to be opening up my store here pretty soon, where we're going to have not only luxury watches, for example, like a Datejust, or anything from Seiko to Rolex. And so not just that, but fountain pens like my Mont Blancs, and things like that are going to be in the shop. And so yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed it. I will be making some more content here pretty soon. I hope you click that like and subscribe button. And yeah, I'll be putting up some more content here as soon as possible. And so I hope you all have enjoyed the video. Y'all take care. See you on the next one.